ask you, we'll come back to some more City in a minute. We've got a lot of super chats to jump into, but from a point of view of Liverpool today, what did you make of your performance and the result?
The result, I'm very happy with that result. I don't know what to say. It was like Man City won 23 games in a row with the Etihad. We stopped that run. It's clearly a tough place to go. The performance could have been better in certain aspects, but again, there was certain things I was impressed by. I thought that Kostas Tsimikas had one of his best games in a Liverpool shirt today, and that's come from someone who has been very vocal in their displeasure about Kostas Tsimikas, but he had a very good game today. I thought that the Doku Trent matchup, in the same way that I look at football, Doku was getting past him, but ultimately you can get past someone, but if you're not doing anything at the end of it, then what's the point? What's the point? What's the point if you're not doing anything at the end of it? Like what's the point? I look at the centre backs. I thought Joe Matip was a contentious selection decision today.
Ridiculous.
I thought the Matip selection was a bit of a confusing one, but he had a blinder today. I thought Joe Matip didn't put a foot wrong. Van Dijk, fine. Gravenberch was a really good two off the bench. I was happy that Jones started, but we clearly needed Gravenberch, and he had a really good impact. He started pushing Rodri back. I think what we got wrong in that first half, especially, was we didn't have anyone sort of closing in on Rodri, getting touch tight to him. When Rodri is in that situation, he's so good on the ball, he's going to bypass a press. So many times in that first half, our press was getting bypassed because Diaz had played it into Rodri, who'd first time play it out wide, and our midfield be caught out. Someone should have been on Rodri, at least touch tight, trying to stop the ball getting into him. I thought Nunes had a pretty poor game in that regard. I don't think Nunes had a pretty good game in any sort of facet, to be honest. But at the end of the day, look, we weren't amazing. This certainly wasn't one of the best performances, but we've done a job. In the big moment, when we got the big chance, Trent finished it bottom left corner, and we've left with a draw that you could argue was deserved. I thought it was a close game, all things said. I don't think it was a memorable game. I think, to be honest, it says more about the fact that we know this is game of the weekend, and why is it going on at 12:30 on the Saturday? That atmosphere at the Etihad. Well, I know the Etihad can have a blind.
Do you know how you know that there's something dodgy? There is something dodgy about this. I'll tell you why. Because it weren't even on BT, which is normally the 12:30 game. So they've put the Super Sunday.
They switched the broadcaster.
Yeah. They put the Super Sunday team on a 12:30 kickoff game. That's weird. It's just weird. It shouldn't be happening like that. I agree.
It must have been a police thing, because I'm guessing that Sky picked the game, but then police must have changed it, so therefore that's the reason why I went round. That's the only reason.
Potentially, I get that. Like, Rack, do you agree with Tom in terms of your performance today? Are you happy with it? Do you think you did, played well considering where you were?
Look, City, I'll still say City best team in the world, and as Vader knows, I said I'd happily take a point, and I think overall City were the better team, but not by a massive amount. And I take the point. I'm happy with the result. Performance could have been better. Darwin, there were glimpses of potential there in terms of what he could have done, but he just didn't really pull anything off. Just about City. I understand City fans excited about Doku, but I'm not really sure. Like, Tel, you remember Aaron Lennon. Is he going to have that kind of end product, or is he going to have something better than that? The question marks are there for me. That's all I'm saying, because we've seen many of these tricky wingers in the past, and when it comes to like stepping up at the top level.
Because
I'm just going to reserve judgment. Tell all those faces.
Aaron Lennon. Aaron Lennon.
That probably wasn't the best example. That probably wasn't the best example.
No. But that's the example that I thought about this before.
I swear I saw him create 2 or 3 clear-cut chances today.
But look, he got past Trent. I think I remember one where in the first half, but I don't know, man. Like, the thing is, if you're a tricky winger, you're going to get doubled up against, right? That's the nature of the beast. But is he going to be able to deliver consistently? I thought he had an okay game, but I don't think he was like incredible. People talk about man of the match. I thought he was okay, nothing more than that.
What are you saying about Roms? I saw you jumped in as well.
Because I feel, and this is a question more to Hamza and Vea, I think Doku had a good game. He was causing Trent trouble here and there. Although I do think people are kind of going overboard on Trent being bad defensively. I think he was decent today. He had a draw with Haaland. In the first 15 minutes. He actually nullified a few things. Yes, Doku gave him a tricky time at times. But one thing I want to ask Vate and Hamza, Doku, for me, he was beating Trent a lot. But for me, his crossing could have been a bit more clinical. I feel like he could have done a bit better with his crossing. I think he got into positions where he could have hurt us even more than he did at times. But I want to know you two, because I think it was a bit underwhelming. He was doing all the hard stuff, right? And then when he got to the byline or in positions, for me, he wasn't that clinical in delivery. That's my opinion on Doku.
Okay. So before Professor goes, if you're talking about the end product, which Rax wanted to talk about, what Tom wanted to talk about, that's after the fact of him already cooking Trent, though. Like, he was consistently getting past Trent.
That's what I said, Vader. He got past Trent, but then he didn't finish it off.
I mean, he got past Trent a few times.
But don't then just say, Trent was okay because what Doku
But
did.
Trent also had most ball recoveries. Trent had the most ball recoveries in the game. So I don't know. We can all talk about numbers.
I just think that what's the name? I think Doku cooked him, man. And now conversation are being had around the world. Like, we're seeing Trent getting cooked by a lot of wingers. It's not only like Doku today. It was the Luton winger, and then it was Kvaratskhelia, Vinicius. I
hate this narrative.
He's very good.
Seasons. Trent's been good this season. This narrative is a bit lazy.
Trent is very good. But he needs to learn. Gary Neville was more of defensively way better than him.
No, but Hamza. But it's a different.
So much when people run on him, and every time he made, even the Ake, when Ake scored the goal, you can't even get. Are you serious? When Ake made that goal, guess who's for? Look at Trent. Look what. Come on, for goodness sake, man. Liverpool fan. But
Hamza,
he's a Liverpool fan or Liverpool ex-player, youth player. But he's not good enough. He's not being put. People say he's a generational talent. He is not a generational talent. He's the biggest disrespect on players like Cafu and all this Maicon and all that.
Crazy.
And others. You cannot compare him. He costs you games all the time. Big games. Everyone wants to run on him. And if you don't run on him, you've had a bad game. Everyone knows. If you don't run you've had a bad game as a winger.
Hamza, let me ask you.
One at a time. Roms, go on, mate.
I was going to say, when was the last bad defensive game Trent had? Because you're saying all these names. When was the last one? Tell me.
Luton, he got cooked.
He didn't get cooked.
He got run on.
He got past him a few times. He didn't get cooked. It's not like he had a bad game. His last bad game, in my opinion, defensively, was against Vinicius, which most people struggle with. Other than that, this narrative is lazy. He has been very well. If you actually watch Liverpool week in, week out, he has done very well since, I'll say, the back end of April defensively. Yes, he's had blunders in the past, but I think this narrative is just lazy now. Honestly, I think it's lazy.
But look, what do you want from Trent? If you want Trent to be the best defensive fullback in the history of football, no, he's not. He's never going to be that. But Trent doesn't play like a traditional fullback. He's playing in that position because he gives us something that other fullbacks can't, right? Does that mean there's a payoff? Because defensively, he's not going to be that quality. I've made this comparison before, right? You're talking about Gary Neville, right? And Gary Neville used to play with David Beckham. If David Beckham was playing today, if play was playing in this era, David Beckham would be playing fullback like Trent would. He'd be dictating the play. He'd be playing cross-field balls. He'd be playing amazing crosses. That's what if you're expecting him to be an amazing defender, he's never going to be that. If that's your expectation, he's never going to be that.
I believe Rax, you're right. He's defensively, he's very poor, but attacking-wise, he's the best. Like, in terms of attacking threat, he's very dangerous. But it was such a shame that a lot of Liverpool fans before the games were saying, "Oh, Doku will not do something about Trent." Every time Doku got the ball, there was 3 men on him. Salah, where was Salah?
That's what happens. You can't complain about that. If you're that's what's going to happen.
Doku made him run back all the time. Salah couldn't attack so much. Today, Salah had one of the worst games.
Hamza, are you complaining? Are you complaining about your? Hold on. You fraudulent, corrupt guy. You corrupt guy. You're as corrupt as your own football club. Yes. Are you complaining about Doku getting doubled up on? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah.
Are you complaining that they're? So when hold on a minute, because this guy is so fraudulent. When I'm in other spaces and in other videos and streams with this guy, and I sit there and I'm like, oh well, Saka gets doubled up on, triple manned every time. Yeah, they got 3 man on him waiting. They're watching every single move he makes. This guy says, nah. If he's a world-class winger, if he's a top-class winger, he should be getting out of that. So if you're saying that Doku is as good as he was this game, then he should be getting out of that.
That's
I'm
why
sorry,
I
but
believe
a top
Salah
winger could get out of that. Let's not sit here and lie. I love to dunk on Trent. I can't lie, I do. Defensively, of course. But today he didn't have a bad game defensively. He didn't. On the transition, he was very well placed. He was stopping counter attacks. He stopped maybe 2 or 3 counter attacks that you guys had in the second half. You guys are living off of this whole Doku got past him like 1 or 2 times, bro. It's really not that deep. It's really not that deep. He got past him. It is where it is.
I think I would say this. Doku's really good. I didn't think he had a bad game today, but Doku's going to do that. What he did today to Trent, he's going to do that to most fullbacks for the next 10 years. You know, this is Ashley Cole's one of the greatest we've ever had in the Premier League. The top class right midfielders, every game still got past him 2 or 3 times. It's generally impossible to stop, especially the skillful, pacey wingers from getting past you. You know David Beckham. I know he's really good, right? Do you know David Beckham managed to get crosses off against every fullback he ever played against? Shock horror. This standard we're trying to create, like a fullback can never be taken on, and also if a winger doesn't score or create a goal or get the assist in one particular game, we can say, yeah, told you is rubbish. What you saw today was a very good right back who has improved defensively, in my opinion. He's someone I went in at a lot play today. And we also saw a very, very good winger where if the City players in the middle that he squared balls to, if they were more clinical, this man could have walked away with 2 or 3 assists today. But that doesn't mean Trent would have had a bad game. My issue with Trent, it wasn't even mistakes from Trent back in the day. It was not seeing danger, not tracking back, letting people just run off of him and not move him. And he's improving in those areas. Is he ever going to be as good as Gary Neville was a defender? As good as Ashley Cole? No. But we're kind of setting an unrealistic expectation for him. Where if you can't defend as well as Ashley Cole, I'm just going to say you're crap. Yeah, but look how much better he is going forward compared to nearly all the other fullbacks in Premier League history.
Well, look at Cancelo, right? Cancelo, a Pep fullback. Cancelo played a significant number of games under Pep. Obviously, they fell out, whatever. But Cancelo was never the best one-on-one defender, right? That's if Pep was playing. If City had if Pep had Trent, he'd be playing him, no doubt about it. Just because in a possession dominant,
he's saying he's the best right back and
but people are saying Kyle Walker is the best right back, right? The City fans and other people say Kyle Walker is the best fullback, but you're nodding along because I mean you can have that opinion, but we can't have that opinion.
No, but you guys are inconsistent because you'll notice what he does on one aspect in his game, but when we talk about Ederson, you crap all over it.
Yeah.
So the consistency isn't there amongst you guys.
I don't think anyone's crap. How do we crap on Ederson? I don't think you'll find any single Liverpool fan who doesn't say Ederson is better at this. Alisson, no, everyone knows Ederson's better at kicking the football than Alisson. Ederson was, honest to God, some of the passes I've seen him play today.
We're talking about the overall. Tom, the same way you talk about overall Trent is not the same way you talk about overall Ederson. That's the point that I'm trying to make here.
It's a very simple explanation. Overall, so Ederson has, and I'll use Ederson, Alisson, and I'll go to Walker and Trent. Ederson has the passing, Alisson has the shot stopping. But when you look at there's more aspects to shot stopping than there is to passing. Therefore, you would weight more to Alisson. You can't. So there's one-on-ones.
So again, with Walker and Trent, who's better?
So Walker's a better defender. Won't argue with you there. Walker's a better one-on-one defender. Walker probably reads the game better.
It depends on the team you're playing him in.
You were simple to say Alisson's better than Ederson. You can simply say who's better, Trent or Walker?
Walker, by far.
You want one. You want one. If I had the Champions League final tomorrow, I would go Kyle Walker.
Yeah, you can't play Trent. Trent will get killed. Trent, the first thing
no. Listen, now you're going too far.
If Pep had Trent, Okay.
I think it's a
Trent
different.
Alexander-Arnold has won
And Pep
Champions
had
League
Walker.
finals.
He played
One at a
Trent.
time, guys. One at a time, please.
Trent
it's
Alexander-Arnold has won finals. Trent Alexander-Arnold has played
go
the
on.
biggest games, won big moments, and we're sitting there going, "Oh no, he'd get cooked in big games." I've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold handle some of the best wingers in the world. There's a narrative that whenever he comes up against a good winger, he crumbles, he fails.
Exactly.
Guess what? Trent Alexander-Arnold actually causes problems to these wingers because while they want to attack all game, they can't afford to do that because if they leave him, he can cause the threat at the other end, which is exactly what happened today.
Later.
Because the goal he scored, he was unmarked because his man didn't track
I hear
him
you
back.
on that. I've got to go to some. Sorry, Rom. I've got to get these super chats done because.